Okay, welcome class to lesson 1. It's about exclusive features of volcanicity. These are features which are exposed on Earth's surface. They are formed on Earth's surface. They are external landforms. They include volcanoes, explosion craters, crater lakes, calderas, caldera lakes, volcanic neck, hot springs, geysers, lava plains, and lava dammed lakes. So we are going to explain one by one using definitions and at least some illustrations showing the formation for each. Number 1 is a volcano. A volcano is similar to a volcanic mountain, a volcanic highland. This is a mountain that opens downward a reservoir of magma below the Earth's surface. When we talk of a reservoir of magma below the Earth's surface, we mean the chamber of magma within the Earth layers. So when magma protrudes from the Earth layers and piles on Earth's surface around the vent or around the main pipe, it forms a volcano. Remember, when these molten materials are still under the Earth layers or within the Earth layers, we call it magma. But when they are exposed on Earth's surface, they become lava. So in short, when this lava piles around the vent and keeps on accumulating, it finally builds a highland called a volcano. We have many examples of volcanic highlands. For example, in Rwanda, we have Karisimbi, we have Bushokoro, we have Muhabura, we have Gahinga, Sabinyo, and outside Rwanda, we have Mount Kenya, Kilimanjaro, Nyamuragira, and Nyiragongo. So in short, a volcano is formed when lava accumulates around the vent or around the main pipe. It keeps on accumulating and forms a steep mountain called a volcano. Maybe this diagram may help us. We may assume that before this mountain was not there, but there were earth layers here with a chamber of magma here. Then after, this magma looked for its way out through the main the main pipe or the main vent. And when it reached on Earth's surface, it kept on piling. It kept on piling around the vent until it formed a highland called a volcano. Feature number 2 is explosion crater. Explosion crater is a depression on top of a volcano. A depression, a hollow on top of a volcano. How is it formed? You remember, we are mostly interested in the formation for each feature. Even if we don't define, but we explain how each feature was formed, it would be better than knowing the definitions. So how is explosion crater formed? It is formed when magma sinks in the main vent. This magma, after reaching the Earth's surface to become lava, it again retreats. It sinks within the vent. And a depression which remains on top is what we call a crater or explosion crater. Most of the volcanoes have craters on top. Next, we have a crater lake. After understanding what a crater is, a crater lake is simple. It is a lake formed when a crater is filled with water. The other depression, which we call the crater, with time it is filled with water. And the name changes from a crater to a crater lake. So a crater forms first, and then when it is filled with water, it forms a crater lake. Most of the volcanoes have crater lakes. We have given example of Mahabura. A caldera. In simple terms, one can even say a caldera is an extensive crater, because a caldera is a depression, an extensive depression formed when the top of the volcano is blown off by violent eruptions. The top of the volcano is blown off by destructive eruptions. So it may begin as a crater. If you check here, it may begin as a crater. Then after very destructive and violent eruptions, this crater becomes wide. Beyond the size of a crater, it becomes a caldera. So calderas are wide craters, in short. What about a caldera lake? Also simple, because caldera lakes form within calderas. A caldera lake is formed when a caldera is filled with water, which means a caldera lake is an extensive crater lake, if you want to use that logic. In the same slide, we have volcanic plug or volcanic neck. When you check on the diagram, this part here looks like a neck or a plug. So it is formed when magma solidifies, within the vent and later exposed by exogenic processes. Magma is trying to look for its way out or to get extruded. But before it reaches the Earth's surface, it cools and solidifies within the Earth layers. Then after time, the upper layers where this magma has been solidified are removed or eroded away by exogenic or external processes like erosion and mass wasting. And finally, the other sharp neck remains resistant because it is hard, and it stands as a neck, and thus the name volcanic neck. We assume originally here we had layers of the earth, but as this magma solidified within the earth layers, with time these layers were washed away, they were removed, and when they were removed, this solid hard magma standing like a neck was exposed, and this is what we call volcanic neck or volcanic plug. Then we have hot spring. Hot, it is hot. Hot spring, it is a natural outflow of superheated water from the ground. Hot water from the ground collects on Earth's surface and forms a hot spring. How is a hot spring formed? It is formed when water heated by geothermal energy is extruded on Earth's surface. The volcanic rocks under the crust are subjected to geothermal energy, and this geothermal energy hits the rocks which were in contact with water. Water also becomes hot because the neighboring rocks are hot. So as the rocks become hot, they create pressure within the Earth's crust, and this force or pressure forces the crust to crack. After cracking, lines of weaknesses are formed. One can call them minor vents or pipes, sub-vents or sub-pipes. So this water, which tries to look for its way out, will follow the lines of weaknesses to get exposed outside or on Earth's surface. Reaching the surface, it collects together and forms a hot spring. Hot springs can be seen in Rubavu, Gisenyi, and Cyangugu. Then I think Rusizi. Then we have geyser. A geyser is like a hot spring. The formation is the same. They result from geothermal energy, which heats up the rocks. The rocks also heat the water. When the water becomes hot, the water tries to look for its way out through lines of weaknesses. It is exposed on Earth's surface. But the major difference between hot springs and geysers is that geysers produce much steam. The steam from a geyser is too much, and it even joins the space, the atmosphere. Hot springs don't have much steam. Some don't have steam at all, but they have hot water. Geysers produce more steam than hot springs. If we check on the diagram, check on your right. This reservoir stands for a hot spring, and this is a rock that was subjected to geothermal energy. It becomes hot. Here we have superheated rock. When it becomes hot, even the water in contact with this rock becomes hot, and it is extruded outside because of great pressure, and when it collects on Earth's surface, it forms a hot spring. When you check on your left, this is a geyser, because the steam is more than that on a hot spring. There is also a reservoir, but within the reservoir there is some steam, in fact much steam, that joins the atmosphere or the space above. So the difference between a hot spring, if you check on the diagram, and a geyser produces more steam than the hot spring. Then we have lava dammed lakes. These are lakes formed when lava blocks the river channel. Assuming this is a mountain, a volcano, and there is lava flowing, this basic lava is flowing. This fluid lava is flowing on the slope of the mountain. By the time it joins the valley, it meets a river, and it blocks the channel of the river. The water collected behind the solidified lava forms a reservoir called a lava dammed lake. In Rwanda, we have good examples of twin lakes, Ruhondo and Rhea. They are good examples of lava dammed lakes because their channel was blocked by the lava flowing. It came and solidified within the river channel and had to block the river. Then the water collected behind the solidified lava formed lakes like Ruhondo and Rhea. We have lava plateau or lava plain. I think these are two in one. We have a plateau and plain. A plateau is a flat-topped hill, and a plain is an extensive lowland area. So how do these ones form? If you check on the diagram, this is a hill which is almost flat on top. This is a plateau. And if you check here, these are lowlands but extensive in nature. So how does a lava plateau and lava plain, how do lava plains and lava plateau form? These are formed when basic lava spreads and solidifies, forming a gentle or a flat top hill or a flat surface. Basic lava, fluid lava, flows and covers an extensive area and solidifies on that extensive plain and forms lava plains. They are called lava plains because they are formed from lava. When lava solidified on a flat area, it formed those lava plains. And it covered an extensive area because it was not thick lava. It was not viscous lava. It was basic lava which flows freely. Cumulodome. It is a steep-sided. What is a cumulodome? It is a steep-sided convex dome of acidic or intermediate lava. It is a steep-sided convex dome of acidic or intermediate lava. Something with a dome shape is round shape. Round shape. So when you check on the diagram, this is a dome shape we mean. It is not steep, it is just round like a dome shape. How is it formed? How is a cumulodome shaped? Formed. It is formed when acidic viscous lava piles up around the vent and forms a dome-shaped feature called a cumulodome. You see, when you borrow knowledge from this and compare it with a volcano, we are here saying that it is formed when lava accumulates or solidifies around the vent. So it sounds like a volcano, but they are not the same. This one is formed by acidic and viscous lava, which is thick. It does not spread and covers a large area. It just remains near or around the main vent and forms a feature with a round shape, not like that of a volcano. It is not as steep as a volcano. It has just a round shape and not extensive like the other one of a volcano. The shape is not like that of a volcano. A volcano is more extensive and more steep. And a volcano may even be formed from basic lava because of its extensiveness. But this one is just out of viscous, thick lava. It just remains near the vent and forms a round shape called a cumulodome.